All right, strap in, everyone. Today we are going deep on something that's got everyone talking, blockchain and Bitcoin.
It certainly got people's attention.
It really does. And, it's funny how history repeats itself. Think about when cars were first invented.
Yeah.
People were terrified, like actually terrified. In Britain, they passed this law called the Red Flag Act. You know what that was? It made it so someone had to walk in front of a car, waving a red flag.
Wow. Talk about slowing down progress.
Can you imagine? Like, seriously, who thought that was a good idea?
Well, I guess people were just scared of the unknown.
Right. Scared of the unknown. And fast forward to now, I feel like we're seeing that same kind of fear and uncertainty around, well, Bitcoin and blockchain.
I think that's a really good comparison, actually. Some folks are cheering it on, while others are like, whoa, slow down, what is this thing?
Totally. So the question is, are we standing at the edge of another technological revolution, or is this all just hype? That's what we're going to figure out right here, right now on The Other Opinion. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future deep dives. And let's get started.
I'm ready.
So let's get down to basics. What exactly is blockchain? I mean, the word itself just sounds complicated.
It does, doesn't it? But really, the core idea is pretty simple. Imagine a digital ledger, like a classroom attendance sheet.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
But here's the thing. With blockchain, every student has a copy of that sheet, and it's constantly being updated and shared. That's the heart of it. It's like this shared, distributed ledger.
Okay, I'm with you so far. So if, say, someone tries to change their attendance mark, everyone else with a copy would immediately know they were trying to cheat.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. Each entry, we call them blocks, is linked to the one before it. So you end up with this chain of blocks, hence the name blockchain. And this chain is incredibly difficult to tamper with because of how it's all linked together. Plus, each block has a unique hash. It's like a digital fingerprint. If you change even a tiny bit of data in that block, the hash changes.
So it's kind of like a giant self-correcting spreadsheet, and everyone has access to it. And no single person controls it. That's pretty wild. But how do new entries get added? Who's in charge of that?
Right. So that's where nodes come in. They're basically computers on this network. And their job is to validate and update the blockchain. They all work together to make sure everyone has the same correct version of the ledger. And to add a new block, these nodes, they have to solve these really complex math problems. It's called mining.
Mining, like digging for gold.
Kind of. The first node to solve the problem gets to add their block to the chain, and they get rewarded with some cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency. So is that where Bitcoin finally comes in? I'm dying to talk about Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Bitcoin was actually the first major use of blockchain technology. It's a digital currency, meaning it only exists as data. And here's the kicker. It operates completely independently of any central bank or government.
Now that's what I call disruptive. It's like, what if we trusted math instead of institutions? Pretty radical, right? Mind-blowing, really.
It's a huge shift in thinking, for sure. And Bitcoin is a prime example of that. It's all about decentralization.
Power to the people. But, okay, I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this. How does it actually work in the real world? Like when I send someone Bitcoin, what's going on behind the scenes?
Well, with traditional money, you've got banks in the middle, right? They process everything. They hold your money. And they charge fees for that. But Bitcoin cuts them out. No more middleman.
So no more waiting for checks to clear. And no more ATM fees. Okay, now you're talking my language. If you're enjoying this breakdown, by the way, hit that share button and tell a friend about The Other Opinion. Let's get more people in on this conversation.
Sounds good.
All right, so no banks, no government. But isn't it a bit risky to trust, well, code?
It's a fair question. And honestly, Bitcoin, like any new tech, does have some risks. For one, its value can be pretty up and down, really volatile.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those headlines. Bitcoin is up, Bitcoin is down. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, and that can make it hard to use for, everyday purchases right now, at least until things settle down a bit more.
Okay, and there's also the whole government thing. What are they going to do about Bitcoin? Nobody really knows yet.
Right, that's the other big question mark. Governments are still trying to figure out where cryptocurrencies fit into the whole financial system, how to regulate them, if at all. It's a lot to figure out.
So it's still a bit of a Wild West out there, huh?
In some ways, yeah. It's early days, but that also means there's tons of opportunity. Just think about the early days of the internet.
Oh, man. Remember dial-up?
Yeah, exactly. It was a free-for-all back then. It took a while for rules and norms to develop, but look at it now. The internet has transformed everything.
I can't even imagine life without it. So maybe, just maybe, Bitcoin is on a similar path.
It's certainly possible.
It's a lot to take in, but I'm definitely intrigued.
Me too.
And we've only just begun to scratch the surface here.
Right. And there's still so much more to unpack.
Hit that subscribe button, folks, because in the next part, we're going to dive even deeper into this whole Bitcoin revolution. We'll talk about how it's challenging our very understanding of money. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.
Welcome back to the show. You know, one of the things that blows my mind about Bitcoin is how it really makes you rethink money. Like, what is money even?
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what have we been doing all this time?
Seriously, we're so used to, banks and governments being in charge of our finances. Bitcoin kind of throws all that out the window.
Totally. It's like, what if we trusted math instead of, like, institutions?
It's a great way to put it. It's a total paradigm shift. Bitcoins is basically saying, hey, what if money was completely digital,
Yeah.
decentralized,
Yeah.
controlled by a network, not some central authority?
More power to the people.
Right, exactly.
But if I'm being honest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how that actually works, in real life.
Right. Well, think about it like this. Traditional finance, it all relies on these middlemen, banks.
Okay, yeah.
They process transactions, they hold our money, and of course they charge fees for all that.
Oh, yeah.
But Bitcoin, it just cuts them out entirely. No more middleman.
So does that mean no more waiting for checks to clear, no more ATM fees?
That's the idea.
I like where this is going. But isn't it kind of scary to put all your trust in code? Like, what if something goes wrong?
It's definitely a valid concern. And to be fair, Bitcoin, like any new technology, it has its risks. One thing is its value. It can go up and down like crazy, super volatile.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. It's all over the news. Bitcoin is soaring. Bitcoin is crashing. Makes my head spin.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure. And because of that, it makes it a little tough to use it for like everyday purchases, at least for now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then there's the whole government thing. Nobody really knows how they're going to regulate it.
That's the other big unknown. They're still trying to figure out where Bitcoin and crypto in general fit into the existing financial system.
So still a bit of a Wild West out there.
Kind of, yeah. It's still super early.
Hmm.
But that also means there's a ton of opportunity, It's kind of like, remember the early days of the internet?
Oh, man. The good old days. Dial-up. Anyone.
Yeah, exactly. It was chaos back then. It took a while for people to figure out the rules, the norms, but look at it now. The internet changed everything.
I can't even imagine life without it.
Right. So maybe, just maybe, Bitcoin is on a similar path.
Interesting.
Who knows what the future holds?
Definitely intriguing. But we've got to take a break.
Right.
We'll be right back with more on Bitcoin and the future of money. Don't go anywhere. And hey, while we're on break, make sure to like this video and share it with your friends. Spread the word about The Other Opinion. We'll be back in a flash. All right, welcome back to The Other Opinion. We're wrapping up our deep dive on Bitcoin and blockchain. Man, we've covered a lot of ground. Honestly, it feels like we're just scratching the surface of this thing.
It's true. Blockchain has so much potential, and we're really just starting to explore all the possibilities.
It really does feel like we're standing at the edge of like a whole new world. It's exciting, but kind of scary too,
Totally. It's a huge technological shift, and it could change, well, pretty much everything. How we live, how we work, how we connect with each other. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And speaking of big deals, let's talk more about Bitcoin. We've talked about the tech stuff, the whole store of value thing. But there's something deeper here, right? Something philosophical almost.
Yeah, I think so too. Bitcoin really challenges how we think about money and the whole financial system. It's all about decentralization, about giving power back to individuals. And it's about trusting math more than we trust institutions.
It's like a digital middle finger to the powers that be.
Yeah, kind of. It's saying, hey, we don't need you to control our money anymore. It's really empowering, especially for people who have been shut out of the traditional financial system.
Right. It's about financial inclusion, giving everyone equal access no matter where they live or what their background is.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. As blockchain technology gets better, I think we'll see even more ways it can empower people, stuff we can't even imagine yet.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. But okay, let's be real. There are some challenges too, right? Like what about the whole energy consumption thing? I've heard Bitcoin mining uses a ton of electricity.
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern. The mining process does use a lot of energy, but the Bitcoin community is working on ways to make it more efficient. And it's worth pointing out that the traditional financial system uses a lot of energy too. Think about all those bank buildings, all those data centers, plus all the paper money they print.
That's true. I never thought about it like that. It's all about perspective, I guess. Okay, what about security? I've heard horror stories about people losing their Bitcoin to hackers and scams.
Security is super important, especially with crypto. The blockchain itself is very secure because of how it's designed, but there are vulnerabilities, especially at the individual level.
Like if you forget your password or fall for one of those phishing scams.
Exactly. That's why it's so important for people to protect their private keys. They're basically the keys to your Bitcoin wallet. If you lose your private key, you've lost your Bitcoin. No one can recover it for you. It's gone.
Whoa, that's intense. So it's kind of like carrying a wad of cash. You're responsible for keeping it safe?
Pretty much, yeah. But hey, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
That's the truth. So we've talked about the good, the bad, the philosophical stuff. What's the bottom line here? Where does Bitcoin go from here?
It's hard to say for sure. It's all happening so fast. But I think the key is to stay informed, be part of the conversation, and approach this whole thing with like a healthy dose of curiosity and caution.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into Bitcoin and blockchain. If you're hungry for more deep dives on fascinating topics, make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out our other episodes right here on The Other Opinion. We've got everything from artificial intelligence to the future of work, all kinds of mind-blowing stuff.
It's been fun exploring this crazy world with you. Who knows, maybe someday we'll all be using Bitcoin for everything.
Maybe. But until then, thanks for tuning in to The Other Opinion. Just a quick heads up, this was an AI-powered podcast, so it's possible some of the info might be a little off. If you have any other opinions or corrections, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this episode with your friends. We'll see you next time.